let's move on now to the Los Angeles Chargers training camp preview, where we are going to break down the top stories entering the training camp and also the preseason games for the Los Angeles Chargers. But before we do that, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and also ring the bell to get notified when we create new content. Brian and I, we have done a training camp preview for all 32 teams, and they should all be out by the time of the viewing of this video. We will also be doing weekly prediction video for all the games throughout the entirety of the regular season, which includes all of the Chargers games. So if you want to see our predictions, see how well we think the Chargers are going to do week in and week out, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notified when new videos come out. And Ryan, let's get into it here.
Let's do it.
The Chargers here, they had a very kind of vanilla offseason. Didn't really have too much cap space. Did lose a couple of guys, but then also on top of it, kind of they were able to replace them a little bit. But the biggest one, too, to me, kind of entering the story, the training camp is how Kellen Moore is going to maybe kind of reignite some creativity into this offense here, make them more explosive, and how explosive that we know they can be. And how is he going to utilize Quentin Johnson into his offense here? Was he the right pick? Could he be a potential bust player? I think he's got a lot of potential, and I mean Justin Herbert's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think he has a lot of untapped potential. Justin Herbert. So that's going to be very unique to see the type of philosophy that he brings in. Because I also think Kellen Moore has untapped potential, and he was being hindered at Dallas. So to hear your thoughts, kind of on that entering the Chargers.
Yeah. So I think you look at Justin Herbert and not Zach Taylor, Brendan Staley. And I just think that Brendan Staley and Justin Herbert haven't always been on the same page. And I think bringing in Kellen Moore, I think he's much more quarterback friendly, right? I think he's going to set up Justin Herbert for more success. And I'm really curious to see what he's able to do. We've been very critical of Brendan Staley on this channel, not necessarily for his lack of developing or creating mismatches or whatnot, but just maybe some of his situational awareness. And I think maybe bringing in another guy as experienced as Kellen Moore will be super beneficial for Justin Herbert and this Chargers offense as a whole. I just want to see them be more consistent, make the right decisions in critical spots. Don't go for it on 4th and 5 from the 22, right? Take the 3 points, kick the field goal. Right. And maybe Kellen Moore, I think, can put this offense in a better situation, right? When you have a guy on the 1 yard line after you've run, I think it was 6 plays in hurry up, he's tapping his helmet to come out. Maybe, get him off and then reset, especially when it's on a first down. So there's a lot of situations I think that Kellen Moore can help with.
Yeah. Well, and I think, we've had some good comments from our previous Chargers videos talking about how also Joe Lombardi had a big say in the offensive play calling as well, which I think that's a fair point too, and that might have just been a miss on our end. And the fact that he's gone and Kellen Moore is in, I agree with you. I think he's going to provide some more consistency, also a little more creativity, because that was the issue. Well, the issue to me, I think, at Dallas was I think Mike McCarthy also had to say the play calling. Also, I think Dak Prescott is a little overrated as well.
Yeah.
A little inconsistent. I would have Justin Herbert over Dak Prescott. Almost
11 times out of 10.
Yeah. And so I think he has a lot more arm strength, consistency, I think dual threat capabilities as well. And so I think you match him up with Kellen Moore, I think that's just going to be a better it's just going to be a better couple. I'll just say that. So, interesting to see the kind of philosophy that he brings in and also how long it takes for the new offense system to for the new office to catch up to the new offensive system. A lot of times when new OCs come in, there is a lag in the first couple of weeks just because you're just not used to just the type of setup, so to say, and the type of play calling and the checks and audibles that you have to make. So everyone has to get on the same page. So then when it comes to that and then the flip side as well, I'm very curious just on how this overall defense does, particularly from a run defense standpoint. That was by far the Achilles heel from of the team last year. Pass-wise, they're solid. They're really solid. Led by Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James as well is really good. Michael Davis also. But then when it comes to the run game, they just seem to struggle. Even when it comes like Joey Bosa, I mean, They did end up. I'm pretty sure they got Eric Kendricks in the offseason. Yep, they got Eric Kendricks in the offseason. But I think he's just a good, solid linebacker. What he's going to bring to the extra run defense, maybe a little bit more consistency. I think he's just a solid linebacker, just in general. Yeah. So that's going to be the area I'm very curious to see how they end up doing and improving throughout the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, so they also got Tuli Tuipulotu from USC. They have him listed as an outside linebacker, and I'm like, he's a 290-pound outside linebacker. That's not exactly correct. But and then they also got Scott Matlock, who's a little bit of a bigger defensive tackle. And so hopefully this run defense can improve. That has been kind of the Achilles heel. I think you look back 2 years ago, they were playing the Raiders and couldn't stop the run for their life. Like, they knew the Raiders were going to run the ball on that final play before the Raiders kicked the field goal. Yeah. And they still could not stop them. Mm-hmm. And so it's just going to be really interesting to see kind of what this defense is able to do. J.C. Jackson and the rest of that secondary were pretty injured last year. So how do they bounce back from that and then be as consistent as they were a couple of seasons ago? So they have so much potential, and I just feel like the last few years they've been just shy of reaching that potential.
Well, and then that's where the coaching comes into me, because then we talked about Kellen Moore and then the consistency he's going to bring in the play calling and how it's an improvement on Joe Lombardi. But then the things why I was so critical on Brandon Staley is it is just game management decisions. And that's going to be the thing to watch. And it's going to be hard to really tell on how that improved or lack of improving during training camp, especially in preseason, because who really cares on if you go for it on fourth down to try to get film, And so that, like, we're not really going to see any changes or improvement in that area until the season starts. And it probably could be then we probably won't be able to have a good judgment on if there has been changes or improvements in that area from Staley until the middle of the season. Because if you make a decision in week one, it could still be kind of trying it out, or maybe just trying to be aggressive, trying to get a win on the board, because one loss isn't going to kill you week one. So
no, exactly, and it's just going to be interesting. I'm excited for the Quentin Johnson pick too. I think that's going to be a nice addition to the offense. Austin Eckler's coming back. And another thing too, this offensive line is going to be healthy again. They lost Corey Linsley and Rashawn Slater. They're clearly their two best offensive linemen last year. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. But let's go ahead and wrap up this episode of the Tracy Take here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you think of the Chargers heading into the 2023 season. You think they're going to get back to the playoffs and maybe make a late January, early February run? Or do you think maybe some of these moves could have caused them to regress? Let us know down below. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.